Fighter, frugal man, and...
Johnny Dollar.
It is a joy to me heart to be hearing the voice of me lover boy.
Meg McCarthy.
Yes, and how could you tell from so far away and so long ago now, answer me that?
Oh, Meg, I'd recognize that soft, dulcet voice of yours anywhere. How are you?
Oh, Johnny boy, I've got trouble.
And where are you, by the way?
Port Hopeful is the name of the place.
Port Hopeful, huh? You just can't stay away from the sea and ships and sailing men, can you?
And whose leg would you be after trying to pull now? Port Hopeful, Nevada.
Nevada?
Right out in the middle of the desert.
Well, what are you doing there? And why do they call it a port?
Them were the very same identical things I'll be telling you when you get here. And if you take to my advice, you won't waste no time along the way. There's trouble out here. Insurance trouble.
Oh, what company?
Western Life and Trust, they called it. The very same identical company that's insured the life of this blessed man what's laying dead at my feet.
Dead at your feet? Meg, you don't mean...
Just a minute. If you're by way of implicating that I done him in, you're just an evil-minded, suspicious young... Oh, forgive me, sweetheart boy.
Huh?
Well, you was worried about me, wasn't you?
Well, certainly, of course.
God love you, but me skirts are clean. Now, will you get moving and come out here?
Well, it kind of depends.
Oh? And just what kind of fancy double talking is that supposed to... Oh, no, you don't.
What?
Get your dirty, thirsty, conniving hands off.
Meg, what's the matter?
Take them bracelets
Meg.
out of here and you...
Meg!
Well, I guess I was wrong, Johnny. I guess I am in trouble. Now.
I'll grab the first plane.
Bob Bailey in the exciting adventures of the man with the action-packed expense account, America's fabulous freelance insurance investigator.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
And now Act One of yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Expense account submitted by Special Investigator Johnny Dollar to Western Life and Trust Insurance Company, San Francisco office. Following is an account of expenses incurred during my investigation of the Alkali Mike matter. Expense account item 1, 375, telephone call to Bill Kemper at Western Life and Trust, who talked only long enough to order me onto the first plane for the coast. Item 2, 153.50, transportation on a late evening flight to San Francisco. Item 3, the next morning, 4:25, cab from the airport to Bill Kemper's office in the Lawson building.
Ever hear of Alkali Mike Murphy, Johnny?
Yeah, sure, Bill. At least I think so. Isn't he the kind of legendary character who found so much gold somewhere out here?
Over in the Black Rock Desert, Nevada.
Yeah, a place called Port Hopeful?
That's right. The original Alkali Mike had been the skipper of a sailing ship before he got the lust for gold back in the last century.
Yeah, well, what about it?
Finally found it. Plenty of it. Out there in the desert near the little town of Winnemucca.
And?
Built himself a regular palace out of rocks from the nearby mountains, named it Port Hopeful. Settled down to spend the rest of his days enjoying his money. But then he died. Legend says it was suicide.
Yeah, well, what's that got to do with you or me or the company?
Alkali Mike Murphy, Jr., his son, who spent the last 40 years living there. But now he suddenly died. And how he died affects payoff on the insurance policy we wrote him.
Oh, how much?
$200,000, straight life.
Ah, we. Beneficiaries?
2 nephews, 1 niece, and an old housekeeper, all sharing equally, provided, of course, that one of them didn't help him on his way to the great beyond.
And you think maybe one of them did?
$50,000 apiece is a lot of money, Johnny.
Which one?
I'll grant it's only a hunch. But if I were you, I'd make a pretty careful check on that housekeeper.
Meg McCarthy?
She's an old... Well, yes, what do you know about this McCarthy woman?
Oh, plenty, Bill.
Then you think my hunch is right?
No.
Why?
Because if it is, I'll handle this case for nothing.
But according to the police officer...
What's more, I'll quit the insurance business. Item 4, 1320, cab to the airport, plane fare and incidentals to Reno, Nevada. There I rented a car, that's item 5, and headed north and east on Route 40. After about 165 miles of nothing but sagebrush and cactus, I pulled into the town of Winnemucca. I dropped off my bags at the Motel Winnemucca, then headed for the local police headquarters. I was introduced to a Sergeant Otis Framley.
There's no point in driving up to Port Hopeful, Mr. Dollar. We've got the number one suspect right here. Picked her up last night.
Her? Meg McCarthy?
Right.
And you suspect her of what?
Murder? If she didn't poison old Alkali Mike, I'll eat my shirt.
Then you'd better decide right now if you want it baked, boiled, or fried. Where is she?
In her cell. Come on. You mean you've got some reason for thinking she didn't do it?
I know Meg McCarthy.
Yeah, but don't you see she's the only one who was anywhere near him? Besides, look at the motive.
Yeah, suppose you tell me about it.
Well, she's only been out there at Hopeful taking care of him about 6 months. Yet she gets under the skin of the old codger enough to make him turn over a big hunk of his insurance money.
And that takes care of motive, huh?
Well, doesn't it?
Let's go talk to Meg.
Now, look, she's a pretty tough customer when she wants to be, so...
She's a pretty tough customer. And if you silly, stupid income-poop start...
All right, Meg, take it easy.
Oh, take it easy, is it? If you blinking idiom think you can keep a decent, self-respected lady...
I said take it easy.
And Oh, Johnny darling. Me ever loving boy.
Hi, Meg, you old rascal.
Sweetheart, I knowed you'd come to save me out of this horrible place.
Yeah, well, that pretty much depends on you, on what you're able to tell me about this whole thing.
You bet I'll tell you. Only, Johnny.
What's the matter?
Sure, I'll tell you. All I know. And it'll be the honest truth, Johnny boy. But don't you see? The only evidence I can give is enough to hang me.
Meg.
Oh, Johnny, I need your help. I need it bad.
Act 2 of yours truly, Johnny Dollar, in a moment. And now, Act 2 of yours truly, Johnny Dollar, and the Alkali Mike matter.
The sergeant left Meg McCarthy and me alone there at the jail in Winnemucca, Nevada. And she told me all she knew.
Johnny had just plain got fed up with all the noisy, roistering, drunken sailors that used to come to my fancy cafe back on the East Coast. So when I heard that Alkali Mike Murphy was looking for a nice, quiet, respectable lady to be his housekeeper out here in the peaceful, quiet desert, well, I took the job.
You've been out here about 6 months.
Yes, Johnny boy. And me and Alkali, we just got along fine. I cooked good meals for him, and we played cribbage together in the evenings. And it got me a real bang out of keeping that old palace of his all neat and tidy for him.
Yeah, sure. But now, Meg, I understand he named you as a beneficiary of his big insurance policy.
I told him I didn't want it. And besides, I have plenty of money of my own from selling out me cafe back east.
Do you know the other beneficiaries?
Huh? Do I know them? Them nephews and that niece. Just hanging around waiting for him to die these last 20 years. That's all they've been doing. Except maybe Edgar.
Edgar?
Edgar Murphy, the oldest nevy, the nice one. He has a fine job over to the bank in Lovelock.
Any others?
Margaret! Oh, she's a disgrace to me fine old name. Playing around with every Tom, Dick, and Henry she can get her hands on. Looking for the one with the most money so she can snag him and live the easy life.
Where is she?
It's for Danny. Well, he's another no-count. Spends all his time horsing around and gambling.
Where are they now?
After Port Hopeful, where else? Each of them trying to sizzle the others out of all the fine furniture and old silverware and lovely china. You know, when the estate gets settled. The sneaky, sniveling...
All right, Meg, all right. If I'm going to try to help you, there are some things I have to know.
I'll tell you everything, Johnny boy.
How did Alkali Mike die?
Poison, the doctor said it was. In something that he ate.
And who could have given it to him?
There's the trouble.
Huh?
I was the only one with him. I was the only one ever touched his food.
Could it have been poisoned before it was brought into the house?
No, never. Everything I bought for him and me come from the markets right here in Winnemucca. Besides Johnny, I always have the same things he did.
Even the day he died?
Yes. Even that same fateful morning.
Well, did the doctor say what the poison was?
Yes. Quinititani.
Quintanogen?
Yes, that was it. Sulfur or something.
Quintanogen sulfonate?
Yes, it turns to sulfonate.
Well, that's strange. Because if I remember correctly, that's related to one of the old Indian arrow poisons.
But there ain't been no Indians around here for years. At least the wild one.
Look, Meg, I want to go out to that so-called palace, Port Hopeful, but I want you with me.
Well, of course, lover. Only how can I get out of this place?
Let me worry about that. It took the help of a local attorney that set him $500. But I managed to get Meg out of the clink, as long as Sergeant Framley stayed with us, that is. We headed out across the desert over a road that should have been traveled only by jeep. And finally, after about 60 miles of it, we came into a bare, rocky valley. And there in the middle of it sat the palace, Port Hopeful. Only it should have been called Port Hopeless.
Ain't it a beautiful spot, Johnny boy?
It was an atrocity, a huge, rambling jumble of native stone badly cemented together. There were almost as many doors sagging on their hinges as there were windows, as though the whole place had put together one room at a time. Windows were set in at cockeyed angles, and most of them were dirty. 3 fairly new cars were parked out in front.
The relatives, Dollar. They've been here ever since the old coot died, like a bunch of buzzards.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Well, come on, let's go in.
Yes, and see how they've messed up our lovely palace whilst I've been languishing myself away in that hoot car.
Hey, look, Sergeant, if old Alkali was murdered.
Of course he was. How else would he get that poison?
Well, how about these relatives?
That's what I've been trying to tell these harebrained.
All right, Meg, please.
These bird-tailed idioms around here seem to think I'm the only one.
Meg, shut up.
Yes, dear. You know I love you when you talk to me like that. It's just like my dear departed husband, God.
Yes, all right. Well, what about it, Sergeant?
Oh, you mean his own kin? No, Mr. Dollar. People out here in this part of the country have too much respect for their own kin.
Even when there's a lot of money involved?
Yes, I even go so far as to...
Sergeant, bringing that killer back here?
Well, it's this way, Edgar.
Yes, Sergeant, how dare you?
Now, look, it's all perfectly legal.
Legal? This woman killed our uncle.
Now, look, will you? Mr. Dollar here is an insurance investigator.
Johnny Dollar?
That's right.
Oh, I've heard about you.
Well, I haven't.
I'm Margie. And believe me, Edgar, everything will be all right with him here. Won't it, Johnny?
Will it?
I'm sure it will.
Well, we'll see. You want to come in?
What do you mean, do we want to come in? You think we're going to stand out here in our seats all day?
Why don't you drop dead?
Oh, blather, Scott.
All right, Meg, come on.
Sit down, Johnny. Here.
Yeah. Incidentally, where's the other nephew? Danny?
I'm Danny Murphy, Dollar, and I agree with Ed. You've got no business bringing that old witch that murdered our uncle back into this house.
Oh, that's all?
She had no business ever being here. Chiseled her way into his affection so she could cut in on whatever dough he'd leave. And then to make sure he'd leave it in a hurry, she knocked him off.
Uh-huh. Wouldn't that same reason make all 3 of you want to see him out of the way?
Now, just a minute.
Just take it easy, Danny.
Well, what do you mean, take it easy? He's practically accusing us of killing Alkali.
If the shoe fits, Danny boy.
Why, you dirty...
You lay one hand on Johnny Dollar and I'll tear your eyes out from limb to limb.
Okay, Meg. Meg!
Yes, darling.
Mr. Dollar's right, Danny. Margie, and you know it. You know it as well as I do. Sure, we wanted him gone. We wanted his money, that insurance. If Danny here hadn't talked him into that insurance, we wouldn't even have that to look forward to.
Well, can you blame us, Johnny, for not wanting her to share it?
But she will. Unless you can prove she killed your uncle.
Well, what's she ever done, knowing him for only a few months, to make her deserve a share?
Margie, I suspect Meg is the only one who showed your uncle any kind of care and consideration in years.
Well, what did you expect of us?
Mr. Dollar's right. Why kid about it? Heaven knows she deserves his money as much as any of us, whether we like it or not. The fact remains, Dollar, somebody killed our uncle.
And you've all carefully made sure that Meg would be suspect.
Well, yes.
Johnny.
Look, I'm going to play a hunch that maybe he wasn't murdered at all.
But the evidence, Dollar.
What evidence, Sergeant?
He was poisoned.
Yeah, all right, we'll accept that. But I'm still going to play that hunch.
Act 3 of yours truly, Johnny Dollar, in a moment. Act 3 of yours truly, Johnny Dollar, and the Alkali Mike matters. Now, look here, Dollar. We know that old Alkali Mike was poisoned. If that isn't murder, what is it?
Have you ever thought of suicide, Sergeant?
Suicide?
Oh, of
course not. This money-grabbing old biddy here did him in.
Now, just a minute, Margie Murphy.
Sure. Why would old Alkali ever commit suicide? I don't know, Danny. Disappointment over you three, his only relative? He paid no attention to us. Or was it the other way around? You paid no attention to him.
He didn't want us around. Except maybe Edgar.
Well, offhand, I can't say that I blame him. But he did welcome the care and whatever affection Meg may have given him.
Yes, Mr. Dollar, that's true.
She was after his money, that's all.
I told him I didn't want his money. And if you don't shut up, you little squirming, conniving...
Meg.
All right. Johnny, bye.
What are you looking so thoughtful about, Edgar?
Suicide. Old Alkali's father chose to go that way.
Yeah, I know.
No one understood why. He had everything he wanted, money, even this so-called palace, this atrocity that he named Port Hopeful.
You mean he had no more reason to take his life than your uncle?
Well, that's what I mean, Sergeant.
How did his father take his life?
By drinking poison, an old Indian poison.
Quintanogen sulfonate.
Oh, no. Oh, the cup.
What?
The old cup that his father used.
What are you talking about, Meg?
Come here, all of you. Come here in the dining room.
What for, Meg?
In here, where he keeps all the old silver and china and bric-a-brac. Here, now look here in the china closet. There, you see.
That cup or mug on the top shelf, Dollar.
Is that the one his father used to drink the poison?
Yes, but it's never been used since.
Oh, no, Mr. Edgar, that's where you're wrong.
What?
Oh, saints preserve us, this is terrible.
What is it, Meg? Get to the point.
Yes, Johnny, but it scares me.
Well?
Every night after his dinner, Alkali, God rest his poor soul, he'd have his whiskey from one of the clay mugs on that shelf, a different mug every night.
Yes, that's true.
Except that never would he touch that one. The lavender one.
Well, so what?
Called it the death cup. Only he joked about it. But then the night before he died, he talked about it again.
Let me see that mug.
Well, I'll get it for
He
you.
said it was making a superstitious old fool out of him.
Here.
He said his father drank from it and died. But that he would drink from it and live. But he'd sure he weren't superstitious about it. Oh.
Good heavens, look here.
And I poured the drink for him.
What is it, Dollar?
Yeah, what is it? The heavy deposit in the bottom of this mug. Hard as a rock.
But still the poison?
Yeah. The same deep purple color of quintanogen sulfonate.
After 40 years?
Oh, I tried to wash it out, Johnny, before and after he used it.
Oh, water wouldn't touch that stuff.
Oh, that's why I thought it was part of the clay.
But the alcohol in this whiskey would.
Oh.
It released enough of that poison to kill him.
Oh, if only I'd have known.
The police took a long time over this one, but they finally reached the same conclusion I had. Accidental death. So, the relatives will collect the insurance, and Meg, bless her heart. But I'm afraid that mere money will never take the place of a friend. Alkali might. Expense account total, including incidentals and fare back to Hartford, $525 even. Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Frugal Man and...
Johnny Dollar.
Pat McCracken, Johnny, Universal Adjustment Bureau.
Well, hi, Pat. What's new?
I got a problem.
This is new. Pat, every time you call me up, you've got a problem. What is it this time?
Johnny, did you ever have any trouble getting rid of money?
Getting rid of... Look, Pat, this is the thing I do best.
Well, not so here.
What do you mean?
I got $25,000. I've been trying to give it away for 2 weeks, but I can't.
Just a minute. Let me shake the phone.
Huh?
For a minute, I thought you said you were trying to give away $25,000 and couldn't.
You heard me correctly.
Boy, you have got a problem. I'll be right over.
exciting adventures of the man with the action-packed expense account. America's fabulous freelance insurance investigator.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
And now, Act One of yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Expense account submitted by Special Investigator Johnny Dollar to the Home Office, Universal Adjustment Bureau, Hartford, Connecticut. Following is an account of expenses incurred during my investigation of the Shy beneficiary matter. Expense account item one, $1.20 for a cab from my apartment to the offices of Universal Adjustment, where Pat was waiting for me, looking very snide.
Oh, this is a real switch, Johnny. Usually beneficiaries are beating down my door to collect. This one is playing it real cool.
What's the deal, Pat?
Oh, it starts out real simple. 2 weeks ago, a Miss Helen Gaysworth died.
Huh?
Insured for $25,000. Beneficiary, a man named Elijah Summers.
So?
That's where my troubles start. No Elijah.
Can't locate?
Can't locate. No trace whatsoever.
What have you done so far?
Well, the usual, Johnny. We've checked death lists, advertised in the newspapers. All I've come up with is nothing.
Where did you advertise?
New York. That's where Miss Gaysworth lives.
Uh-huh. She have any relatives?
None, as far as we can determine.
Any idea who this Elijah Summers is, or why she picked him as beneficiary?
Well, the only lead we've got is something Miss Gaysworth's landlady told us.
Well, what's that?
Well, apparently this Miss Gaysworth was something of, an eccentric. Lived alone in a dingy apartment, felt that the world was pretty much against her.
Oh?
All except Elijah Summers. Landlady heard her mention him once or twice. It seems he's been nice to her sometime in the past.
How?
That I don't know. Neither does the landlady.
She have any idea where he could be? What he's doing? If he's even alive?
No. But if he is, he's entitled to $25,000, so we gotta find him.
Hey, you know, you don't have much to go on, Pat.
Correction, Johnny? You mean you don't have anything to go on?
Expense account item 2, $36 even. Transportation and incidentals to New York City. I saw the landlady. Miss Gaysworth had moved in 6 months ago from somewhere a few blocks away. 3 hours later, I'd located the somewhere a few blocks away. There, I learned only that she'd, moved in from somewhere else a few blocks away. Gradually, however, a picture arose before my mind of a sweet little old lady drifting from place to place alone, and, well, I felt sorry for her. I also felt sorry for me because nobody along the line had ever heard of Elijah Summers. Finally, I turned up her first landlady in New York. She remembered Miss Gaysworth mentioning something about having come from San Francisco. She thought. Item 3, $167.20 plane fare and incidentals to San Francisco. Item 4, $9.50 newspaper ads in the San Francisco papers. Frankly, I wasn't very optimistic, but that's where I was wrong, because the very first day I got results. The results, incidentally, were blonde with brown eyes.
Mr. Dollar?
Yeah.
I'm Janet Blake. May I come in?
Oh, sure.
Thank you.
What can I do for you, Miss Blake?
You're the one who ran the ad about Elijah Summers.
Yeah, that's right.
Has he answered it?
Not yet.
Do you have any idea where he is?
No, none at all. That's why I advertised. Look, are you related to Mr. Summers?
No. I'm a friend of his.
Well, have you any idea where he might be, Miss Blake?
Have you ever heard of a little town called South Fork, California?
No.
It's on the Yuba River, up in the Sierras, in what used to be some of the gold rush country.
You think Elijah Summers might be up there?
Maybe.
What makes you think so?
Just call it a hunch, Mr. Dollar. Just a hunch.
Item 5, $27.50, a rented car to take me to the town of South Fork. There was just enough inhabitants to keep it from being called a ghost town, a collection of ramshackle buildings at a fork in the river hemmed in all around by the mountain ranges. I looked up the local law, big, beefy, slow-talking deputy sheriff named Rollins.
Elijah Summers?
Yeah, that's right. I'm looking for him.
Who's
My name's Dollar, Johnny Dollar, insurance investigator.
Looking for Elijah Summers, huh?
That's the general idea, yeah.
Well, good luck, Dollar.
What do you mean?
I'll tell you. You find Elijah, you let me know, huh?
Okay. Why?
He's wanted for murder.
Act two of yours truly, Johnny Dollar, in a moment. And now, Act two of yours truly, Johnny Dollar, and the shy beneficiary matter.
Now I knew why Elijah Summers was so hard to locate. After all, a man who's wanted for murder isn't exactly going to make himself conspicuous.
How come you want to find Elijah, Dollar?
He's a beneficiary of a life insurance policy, Sheriff, $25,000.
Afraid the dough's not going to do him much good.
Maybe not.
Oh, sure, he's got to be brought in, tried, and convicted, but I figure that's largely a question of time.
When did this killing take place, Sheriff?
Last year.
Here in South Fork?
A ranch about 3-4 miles east of here. At Jess Tyler's place.
Is Tyler the one who was killed?
Yeah.
Well, what happened?
Well, Sir Elijah always was a funny old duck. Jess Tyler kept him around the place a couple years, sort of a hired hand.
I see.
Now, from what we could piece together, Elijah and Jess got in an argument about some work Elijah wasn't doing very good. Elijah went plumb crazy, shot Jess, and took off in the hills.
I see.
Jess's widow took it pretty hard for the better part of a year. I guess it was Ben Watts finally pulled her out of it. They was married just a month ago.
Oh?
She and Ben were living on the ranch. Straight out of town to the east, up on a rise.
Okay.
Can't miss it. Figure on going out there.
Yeah, I thought I might. You any idea where Elijah might have gone?
Matter of fact, I got a pretty good idea.
Yeah?
Over the next range of mountains is a place called Tough Luck Canyon. A couple of hermits in there panning gold.
Gold?
Well, they get maybe $3-4 worth a day. Enough to live on. Now, I've got me a hunch Elijah holed up somewhere in there.
Have you been up there after him?
2-3 times.
Well?
Well, fellas got to be careful. Elijah's a mean shot with a .30-30. Jess Tyler found that out. Besides, there's lots of places up in there for men to hide.
Uh-huh. So you've given up on him?
Dollar, I don't give up on no man. Elijah stays up there long enough, he's going to get careless. One of these times I go up there, I'll get him.
I got into my car and drove out to the Tyler Ranch where his little Clara and her new husband, Ben Watts, were living. They were expecting me.
Sheriff Rollins phoned us you were coming, Mr. Dollar.
I doubt if there's much we can add to what he's already told you about Elijah and the killing.
Well, I'm sure you don't enjoy talking about it, Mrs. Watts, but
I don't mind any more, Mr. Dollar. Time has a way of taking care of most things. Of course, I still can't help feeling sort of bitter about Elijah. But I also can't help feeling sorry for him.
Yeah, sure, I understand. I gather that Mr. Tyler always treated Elijah pretty well.
Yes, he did. It kept him around here when it really didn't pay to.
Uh-huh. Then how could Elijah turn on him that way?
Well, Elijah was always pretty unpredictable, I guess. No one really knows what the argument was about.
Mr. Watts, how would I get to Tough Luck Canyon?
You mean you're going after Elijah?
I'd like to try.
I don't think that's a very good idea, Mr. Dollar.
Probably not. But why not?
Could be dangerous for you.
Maybe.
And why do it?
My job.
I've been thinking about Elijah a lot lately. An old man like that somewhere up in that canyon out in the open. In the cold. It just isn't right.
Yeah, well, anyway, how do I get there?
As the road takes off a mile or so from here, you'll see it marked. Winds up through the mountains to about 3 hours' hike from Tough Luck Canyon.
Okay, thanks.
Just one thing, Mr. Dollar. This Elijah, he's a good shot.
I know.
And so do I. Put a .30-30 slug in my shoulder once.
When was that?
Night of the killing. I was living on the next ranch over at the time. I was one of them that took off after him. He winged me from 200 yards.
Oh?
I tell you for a fact, Mr. Dollar, he can shoot fast, he can shoot straight.
With those cheerful words from Ben Watts ringing in my ear, I drove back to town. Item 6, $35.40 for some camping equipment. I figured I'd be spending a couple of nights out in the open. I found the so-called road they told me about. Finally, it just sort of petered out among the trees and rocks up near the timberline. I started hoofing it. 3 hours later, I was over the ridge and marching my way down the western slope of Tough Luck Canyon. Suddenly, I stopped. Yeah, somebody was trailing me. I crouched behind some brush and waited. Then I lunged. Hey, wait a minute. You're the girl who answered my ad about Elijah in San Francisco.
Mr. Dollar.
Janet Blake, isn't it?
Well, I'm afraid I lied to you about my name, Mr. Dollar. It's really Janet Tyler.
Tyler? Just Tyler. The man Elijah killed.
He was my father.
Well, what are you doing here? Decide to take the law into your own hands, maybe?
You don't understand. I don't want to harm Elijah, but he must be found and brought back.
Well, I'm with you there.
Then stay with me, because I think I can lead you to him.
Look, Janet, we're nearly at the upper end of this canyon. Now, what makes you think Elijah's around this neck of the woods?
Well, years ago, Elijah brought me up here. There's a little pocket in the rocks. It's almost a cave.
Yeah.
He liked it, said it was his place. I recognized the landmarks.
Get down. Well, Janet, looks like we finally located Elijah. The hard way.
Act 3 of yours truly, Johnny Dollar, in a moment. And now, Act 3 of yours truly, Johnny Dollar, and the Shy Beneficiary Matter.
Yeah, we found Elijah Summers, all right. He was somewhere in the rocks above us there in Tough Luck Canyon. And I knew the minute Janet and I poked our heads up, we'd collect a slug. He had us pinned down but good.
Johnny, you think maybe it's...
Stay down. Now, look, Janet, I still don't understand why you were so anxious to find Elijah.
Johnny, you've heard him shooting at us.
Yeah, you're so right.
What kind of shots do they sound like?
Rifle. Matter of fact, a small caliber rifle.
The 22, maybe? Like this?
Where'd you get that 22 slug?
This came from Elijah's gun the night my father was killed.
But he was killed with... Wait a minute.
That's why I want to talk to Elijah.
That's a good idea, and so do I, but how?
I think he'll still remember my voice. Let me try.
Okay, but be careful.
Elijah? Elijah?
Who's that?
Johnny.
Yeah, go on.
It's Janet, Elijah. Janet Tyler.
Miss Janet?
That's right.
Who's that with you?
Dollar, Elijah. Johnny Dollar. I want to talk to you. I'm your friend.
I know you don't.
Please, Elijah, he's telling you the truth. We don't want to hurt you, but we must talk to you.
That's the truth, Miss Janet?
Yes, you know I've never lied to you.
You there. Dollar. You got a gun?
Yes.
Toss it out in the open where I can see it.
Well, if we've guessed wrong about Elijah, we're dead.
I just know I'm not wrong about him.
I sure hope not. Okay, here it is.
Now stand up and come out into the open.
Okay.
Elijah.
Hello, Miss Janet.
Oh, Elijah, you look terrible. Have you been up here all this time living like an animal?
Oh, don't you worry about me, man. I've been getting along pretty good up here.
By the looks of you haven't been getting much food.
enough to keep my eyes sharp, mister. Oh, I see that devilish sheriff fella come poking around here time or two. He didn't even come close. And if he had I could have potted him easy with this.
That's what I wanted to talk to you about, Elijah. That rifle of yours.
It's a good one, Miss Janet. I remember when you give me it 2-3 years ago for the ground squirrels.
Elijah, have you ever had any other rifle besides that 22?
Nope.
You're sure about that?
Of course I'm sure. You see, yeah, I've took good care of it, too. I kept it clean and polished.
Yeah. Look now, Elijah. Have you ever used any other rifle besides that one?
Nope.
Janet, your father was killed with a 30-30.
I know, Johnny.
That 22 slug you showed me a while ago, you said you got it the night your father was killed, that it came from Elijah's gun.
I saw someone pry this slug out of his own shoulder the night of the killing. He threw it away. He didn't notice I was watching. Later, I heard him tell it around he'd been hit with a 30-30 slug.
You mean your stepfather, Ben Watts?
I was confused at first. I didn't understand. Then it came to me. Ben Watts was the one who'd killed my father. Elijah was probably trying to protect Dad and shot Ben with his 22.
Yes, there was a big fight, Miss Janet. I don't just remember what all happened, but except all of a sudden they was chasing me. And I run.
Sure. Ben figured he could pin the killing on somebody like Elijah who wouldn't have a chance proving his innocence. Elijah, have you seen Ben since you ran away?
Sure. Oh, Ben's come poking around here, too, every so often. But I ain't too smart for him.
Yeah, sure, it figures, Janet. Elijah's a threat to Ben as long as he's alive, so Ben comes hunting up here every now and then.
It's horrible. Well, of course, I gotta be real careful, because I only got a 22, and he's got a 30-30. But you never get old Elijah. Believe you me, he won't get a hot.
Elijah!
Get down and keep quiet. The shot had come from a clump of rocks more than 100 yards away. I scooped up my automatic where I'd thrown it on the ground and started circling slowly, trying to get around behind the clump of rock. I'd almost made it when my foot slipped and sent a rock down the slope. He popped up then, ready to shoot, but lucky for me, his first look was toward the rock instead of me. He saw his mistake, swinging his rifle toward me, but he was too late.
Johnny!
Yeah, right here, Janet. How's Elijah?
Shoulder. He's all right, though. Johnny.
Yeah, it's Ben Watts, all right.
Is he still alive?
Oh, yeah, he'll keep. Long enough. Expense account total $410 even. Remarks? Well, I turned Ben Watts over to the local law. And I helped old Elijah fill out his claim for the $25,000 insurance money Miss Gaysworth had left him. It ought to keep him real comfortable for the rest of his life. You know, Pat, once in a while I get the feeling that this job of mine is worthwhile after all. Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
This is the United States Armed Forces Radio and Television Service.
this is George Reed.
Well, nice to hear from you, George, especially when I have no assignment.
That's fine.
What's fine about it? No expense account to pay means how do I keep the roof from the door? On which, of course, Floyd's of England has a case for me. Huh? Well?
Johnny.
Yeah?
Well, a few weeks ago, you were kidding at the time.
Oh, now, George, how could I ever kid you?
I'll let that one go.
Yeah, you better.
The point is, you rather jestingly asked me if instead of selling life insurance...
Oh, no. Don't tell me.
I'm afraid so. I'm afraid the company is saddled with what you might call a death insurance policy.
You mean living?
Yes, John.
Bob Bailey in the exciting adventures of the man with the action-packed expense account. America's fabulous freelance insurance investigator.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
And now, Act One of yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Expense account submitted by Special Investigator Johnny Dollar. The Floyds of England, American Office, Hartford, Connecticut. Following is an account of expenses incurred during my investigation of the Hope to Die matter. Expense account item 1, $1.10 taxi from my apartment to George Reed's office, where I found him pacing the floor and wearing an even more worried expression than usual. And believe me, that's something.
This thing has me so riled up, Johnny, I can hardly see straight.
Well, you should have known better than to issue a policy like that, George.
It was Harry Baxter.
Baxter?
He filled in here for me while I was on vacation. I should have known better.
What'd you do? Sell a lot of policies that you shouldn't have to handle?
No, just this one. And I swear I don't understand it. He of all people.
All right, you said on the phone that it was kind of life insurance in reverse.
That's exactly what it is.
Explain, please.
Well, usually, of course, we pay the face value of a policy when the insured dies.
Right.
In this case, however, the company will have to pay the $250,000 if the insured doesn't die.
$250,000?
Yes.
How under the sun could a man be crazy enough to issue a policy like that?
John, you know how it is. The company prides itself on the fact we'll insure anything. Not only life and property and health and so on, but the voice of a singer, the feet of a dancer, hands of a pianist, even the dimples on the knees of a chorus girl.
Yeah, singing mice, an old alley cat, a sick whale.
Of course, I can't say that Harry wasn't in position to do it, but, Johnny, you've got to help me.
First, you better tell me who and why and what it's all about.
Just the trouble. I don't know.
Well, that's it. You don't know.
I only got back here to the office this morning. I found our copy of the policy lying here on my desk.
But if you don't even... Oh, look, I've handled some pretty silly cases for you, George.
Yes, but they've all finally made sense one way or the other. And, Johnny, we have paid you some very nice fees. You can't deny that.
Sure.
Tell me, have I ever questioned your expense account?
But death insurance, it doesn't make sense.
Have I?
Insuring somebody against living.
Have I?
I'm sorry, but this time the answer is no.
Listen, if you take this on, I'll okay your expense account without even reading it.
Death insurance.
Expense account unlimited. Johnny?
George, there are some things even a conniving, chiseling, unprincipled rascal like myself won't...
Unlimited? Johnny?
Okay, George, I'll take it.
Act 2 of yours truly, Johnny Dollar, in a moment.
Who among us has not hoped for a better life? Who has not had a desire to help stamp out disease and suffering among more unfortunate people throughout the world? Many have wanted to help, and many have done so. That sort of work is going on everywhere. Everywhere there is hope for freedom and a better life. Outstanding in this field of activity is Project Hope, which operates from a converted U.S. Navy hospital ship called, appropriately enough, the Hope. The good ship Hope carries out its mission of mercy in far eastern waters, wherever doctors, nurses, dentists, sanitation, and public health experts are needed. The Hope steams full speed ahead and gives what help it can. In addition to giving medical aid, the staff of the Hope works with local doctors to acquaint them with the newest of medicines and medical procedures. At the same time, the staff of the Hope learns a great deal about the symptoms and the cures of diseases with which they have had no previous contact. When the Hope was in the United States Navy, it was called the Consolation. And it is certain that the people who now operate her will give both consolation and hope to those who are suffering. Consolation, hope, and a new life. For wherever the hospital ship Hope is anchored, its task is to make emergency trips to scenes of disasters and epidemics. Their services include a wide variety of skills, from removing a tumor from a child's neck to putting a bandage on an old woman's cut finger. But most importantly, with the Hope comes friendship and understanding, good medicine for healthy freedom, which is the right of all men everywhere.
And now, Act Two of yours truly, Johnny Dollar, and the Hope to Die matters. Lloyd's of England insure anything. At least that was their boast. And now it looks as though it had finally backfired on them. Because somebody in the organization, some character named Harry Baxter, had issued not life, but death insurance. If it hadn't been for my friendship with George Reed, well, plus his promise of unlimited expense account, I'd have thrown the whole problem right back into his face, as it was.
Thanks, Johnny, from the bottom of my heart. I'll never forget you for this.
Believe me, George, I'll never forget you for this.
And if you can get us off the hook...
All I can do is try, so come on, give me the dope on it.
Yes, now here. The name of the insured is Miss Mary Ellen Markham.
Yeah, I got it. Where does she live?
514 East 52nd Street, New York City.
Pretty fancy address.
Yes.
Okay. Now tell me why this Mary Ellen has insured herself against living.
Well, that's the point, Johnny. She hasn't.
Now, wait a minute.
Albert Schwinner has.
You think somebody else took out this policy on her life? Or rather death?
Yes.
Holy. Well, what is this guy, a professional gunsel who's going to wipe her out and then collect? I suppose he's the beneficiary, too.
Yes, he is.
Oh, fine. Well, come on. Who is it?
I don't know. As I told you, the policy was lying here on my desk when I got back this morning. I do know this much about him. It's Dr. Albert Schwinner.
Doctor? What kind?
Those are the things you've got to find out. Who he is, what he is, why he's bought insurance against this woman's living beyond November 10th.
The 10th? Well, that's only a few days from now. Oh, George, this gets worse and worse.
Well, if only Harry Baxter hadn't issued that policy.
But he has. Oh, boy, you sure picked a dilly to fill in for you while you were away.
Picked him? What else could I do? After all, he never did anything like this before.
You've known him before?
Are you serious? Of course I have. Why, Harry Baxter...
All right, now look. Time's are wasting and we haven't got much of it. I take it you want me to see if I can find some legal grounds for canceling this policy.
Yes, immediately.
Now, they got an address on the beneficiary, this Dr. Schwinner.
No, I've been so upset about this whole thing, I haven't even looked. And let me see. According to this, he lives at...
What's the name?
Dr. Albert W. Schwinner, C.L.
C.L.? What kind of a doctor is that?
I don't know. The address is 14327 E Street, Union City, New Jersey.
C.L. Well, I'll soon find out. We're going to reach this Harry Baxter who sold the policy.
In New York at the, here, I'll jot down the address.
I still don't see how Baxter could get away with it.
After all, when you consider his position...
Yeah. He offered no explanation at all.
I'm afraid I didn't give him much chance. I practically threw him out of here.
Oh, I can't say that I blame you.
And that's another thing. Look, Johnny, perhaps you can reason with...
Oh, don't worry, George. He's number one on my calling list. I'll be talking to him. Expense account item 2785, fare to New York and taxi to Harry Baxter's address. A real foodie one over near Sutton Place. And people don't live in that joint unless they've earned or chiseled a lot of money from somewhere. In the case of Baxter, I suspected a big chisel. My suspicion was considerably heightened when he opened the door. His apartment was luxury from stem to stern. As for Baxter himself...
Dollar? Of course, old boy. I've heard a great deal about you from my dear friend and colleague, George Reed.
Dear friend, huh?
When you say that, as though you doubted it. Oh, I know. That's filling in for him while he was away. Well, I really should have done better for the old thing, but I've had so many social obligations to meet these past few months, and after all, one must keep up with those things.
Oh, I'm sure one must.
Why, just a one policy, you know, a real bullet.
Oh, that's the understatement of the week.
I suppose I can't really blame him for being a bit excited about it, but he gave me no chance to explain why I issued the policy.
Why did you?
Oh, now, really.
Well?
I made it very clear to George that I would tell him when he calms down enough to be reasonable. Really, Mr. Dollar, he was in quite a tizzy.
Whether he still is, that's why he sent for me.
So when he calms down, he'll be sorry he bothered you.
Suppose you tell me why you issued that policy.
You? No.
What?
No, I'll tell George when he's ready, and then I'm ready.
Oh, now, just a minute.
And you may tell George I said exactly that. Goodbye, Dollar.
You tell me, Baxter, right now.
I'll do nothing of the sort. And what's more, since my train to Europe is leaving shortly, I have no time to... Would you kindly remove your foot from the door?
Not until I get an answer from you, and I'll start talking.
If you can show some legal cause...
Legal cause?
And furthermore, your behavior at the moment constitutes trespass, illegal entry, call it what you like. And believe me, unless you leave here immediately, I shan't hesitate to ring up the police.
All right. Now, look, just tell me one thing.
I must. What?
What is your connection with the beneficiary of this policy?
Dr. Schwinner.
That's right, Albert Schwinner.
Albert happens to be a very close personal friend.
Oh, I'm not expecting much. All right, then tell me this.
No, I'm sorry, just one question. I've given the answer. Goodbye.
Right there.
Are you hard of hearing?
Look here now.
Goodbye.
Well, there was no point in trying to back down the door of Harry Baxter's apartment, so I left. Downstairs in the lobby, I put in a phone call. I sat in 3.55 cents to George Reed's office in Hartford. Oh, well, then please tell him when he gets back that I want a complete rundown on Harry Baxter. Right. Having hired him, George shouldn't have much trouble getting that for me.
That's what I meant, Mr. Dollar. As a matter of fact, I think I can tell you just...
Now, let George do it. I'll call him back. Item 4, 65 cents taxi to Mary Ellen Markham's apartment on East 52nd Street. A uniformed nurse met me at the door, told me I could stay with Miss Markham only a very short time, then led me into the bedroom. And there, carefully propped up in bed, lay a pale, wan, tired woman who looked to be 65 or 70. The room was full of flowers.
You may leave us, Mrs. Hester. Our room tonight with you. Yes, Mrs. Sit down, Mr. Dollar. I'm sorry I won't be able to speak to you very long. But if you can see...
Yes, I can, of course. I'll get right to the point. You must know, I'm sure, that someone has just taken out a policy on your... well, an insurance policy.
Yes. This is so smart. And it's so helpful to carry Baxter. Oh, you see, I am suffering from a rare and incurable disease of the blood. I don't have long to wait. 2 days, perhaps. No, weeks at the most.
Well, you're getting the best of care, I trust.
Yes. It's a very best. What do you to know?
You know what Dr. Albert Schwinner, don't you?
I know now that for many years he's been great friend.
Then why does he take out a policy that indicates he hopes that you'll die?
I'll die.
Yes. What else could it be?
You don't understand.
Yes, you see. Schwinner has bought insurance against your living beyond November 10th.
Yes. My sister's birthday.
You see,
The reason so.
Yes? Oh, I know. I'm tired. But just one more thing. Your doctor, the doctor who's taking care of you. What? The same Dr. Schwinner?
Yes.
Act 3 of yours truly, Johnny Dollar, in a moment. The American writer Christopher Morley once wrote, "When you sell a man a book, you don't sell him just 12 ounces of paper, ink, and glue.
You sell him a whole new way of life, unquote. Now, that goes double when you give, not sell, a book. But the gift of 560 books to little children increases the legacy tenfold. Near the end of 1960, the employees of the Chase Manhattan Bank started a people-to-people program with such a gift to school children of a town in Tanganyika, that's on the southeast coast of Africa. And to give you an idea how the books were received by the children, let me first quote from Francis Bacon, who's an English writer of a few centuries back. He said, "Some books are to be tasted, others to be swallowed, and some few to be chewed and digested." In the past, children in Tanganyika may have done a little tasting and chewing and a little swallowing and digesting, but there's one certain thing. They wound up devouring the books they received from the United States. And they did so much of it that they, the ones in high school anyway, were able to reach the level of English children their age and pass the exams at the same time. That takes a lot of book learning, as they say. Now, the gift of these books from the United States of America may seem a small thing to the senders, but the boys in Tanganyika who received them know that they've opened a whole new way of life. They've greatly increased understanding in the classroom of freedom, the right of all men everywhere.
And now, Act 3 of yours truly, Johnny Dollar, and the Hope to Die matter. The riddle that Mary Ellen Markham had been able to tell left me more puzzled than ever. I've never been given such a runaround of my life, deliberate or otherwise. But I didn't dare tax his strength further, so I left. Item 5, another 55 cents for another call to George Reed in Hartford. This time he was in.
Yes, Johnny, I must confess I'm calmed down a bit with the first shock of learning that Mr. Baxter had issued that seemingly absurd policy.
What do you mean, seemingly absurd? George's whole thing has me in a tizzy now, a double-barreled one.
Well, I tried to call Mr. Baxter a few minutes ago, but got no answer. I wanted to apologize, of course.
Apologize?
After all, since he's chairman of the board.
Chairman of what board?
The company, this company.
What?
I tried to tell you that this morning, but you didn't give me a chance. Harry Baxter is also the majority stockholder.
Oh, brother.
In any event, as I'm sure you can see, he must have had some good reason for that policy. As soon as I can get him by phone.
You won't.
What?
He just left for Europe.
Where?
I don't know, and right now I don't care.
But if I can't contact him, Johnny, I don't dare cancel his policy until I've talked to him. And if Miss Markham should die before the 10th...
Yeah, 250 G's.
You've got to carry on.
Would you like to tell me how? If Mary Ellen Markham dies on or before November 10th, Lloyd's of England pays Dr. Albert Sprinter $250,000 on a policy taken out by him. And he is her doctor with her life in his hands. And if there isn't something wrong with that setup, expense account item $68 for a taxi to Sprinter's address in Union City, New Jersey. And there at last I learned what the CL meant behind his name. It was an abbreviation, but this was the Albert Sprinter Clinic, devoted to the study of rare diseases of the blood. But Sprinter wasn't there. He'd gone to New York to see Miss Markham. Item 7, $10 even for a fast taxi ride back here to Manhattan. As the nurse led me into the unfortunate woman's apartment, he was just coming out of the bedroom door.
Oh, Dr. Sprinter, this is Mr. Johnny Dollar.
Oh, Mr. Dollar, Harry Baxter told me I might expect you.
Oh, he did, huh?
Yes, he phoned me just before the train took off for Europe.
Pretty smart.
You're an insurance investigator, aren't you?
That is right.
Oh, you may go in to see Miss Markham now, Mr. Baxter.
Very well, Doctor.
How is Miss Markham, Doctor?
Much better, thank God.
Why do you say that?
Yes?
If she dies before this week is out, you stand to collect a cool $250,000, don't you?
I? No, the clinic.
Isn't that the same thing?
Hardly. Sit down, Mr. Dollar. Now, you're concerned about the rather unorthodox insurance policy that Mr. Baxter issued.
I certainly am.
I think you better let me tell you the reason for it.
I think you'd better.
At the onset of her illness some 15 years ago, the best doctors in the country gave her 5 years to live at the most.
And that's when you came into the picture?
Yes. Because of the devotion, the concentration of all our efforts to this one field of medicine, the clinic was able for the first time to give her hope. The hope was justified.
He had given her years of life.
But now, wait a minute, Doctor.
He told us then that if she could be helped to live until she was 50...
And that'll be on the 10th.
Yes. That would prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that our methods, our practices were right. That we could prolong and possibly ultimately save not only her own, but thousands, perhaps millions of lives. Therefore, she agreed that if she reached 50, she would make an outright gift of $250,000 to the clinic and its work. Money which is much needed, by the way.
But then it began to look as though she might never reach 50.
Yes. And she suggested this unusual insurance policy on her death rather than on her life.
Mm-hmm. But why Harry Baxter, chairman of the board of the insurance company, its biggest stockholder, whatever? I don't get it.
Baxter's own mother died of the same disease, Mr. Dollar.
Oh. Of course. Then he knew how necessary this money is to the company.
Yes. And let's face it, Baxter is something of an eccentric.
And that's the reason he chose this offbeat way to make sure you get the financial help you need.
Exactly.
Then, if I try to get this policy canceled,
a great many lives in the future may depend on its remaining in force. Of course, if you feel it your duty.
Doctor, my duty, as I see it, is to do just exactly nothing. Mary Ellen Markham did live to see 50, but only for a few days. Just long enough to make a gift to the clinic. Harry Baxter in the company? Well, Harry came back from Europe, and he said he found some, quote, mistakes, unquote, in the policy that requires the company to pay off on it anyway. Expenses? We should have more of them like that. Expense account total? Are you kidding? Yours truly, Johnny Dollar. Now, here is our star to tell you about next week's story. Next week, an old folks' home in a beautiful spot in the country. A beautiful spot for murder. Join us, won't you? Yours truly, Johnny Dollar. Yours truly, Johnny Dollar, starring Bob Bailey, originates in Hollywood. It is produced and directed by Jack Johnstone, who also wrote tonight's story. Heard in our cast were Virginia Gregg, Shirley Mitchell, G. Stanley Jones, Ben Wright, and Marvin Miller. Be sure to join us next week, same time and station, for another exciting story of yours truly, Johnny Dollar. This is Dan Cutterly speaking. This is the United States Armed Forces Radio and Television Service.
Johnny Dollar.
Mr. Dollar, the investigator?
That's right, insurance investigator.
Yes, well, my name is Frank Skinner, Mr. Dollar.
Yes?
You see, my wife and I run the Sunny Dream Home up here at Buckland Center. Old folks' home it is.
I see. Well, now, what can I do for you, Mr. Skinner?
Well, I'm afraid there's something wrong here, Mr. Dollar. You see, we've never had anything like this before.
Like what, sir?
Well, to begin with, all our clients are pretty well insured.
Yes?
All right. We've been having a lot of deaths here at the home these past months. Too many, Mr. Dollar.
Well, after all, if your clients are all very old people...
Yes, sir, they are. But you see, these have all been accidental deaths.
Yeah, well, don't forget, sir, that older people are very often quite prone to accidents.
Yes, sir, that's true, but... Well, if you want the truth, I don't think they've been accidents.
Oh?
No, sir. And if something isn't done to stop this, well, I think maybe you'd better come up here and see us.
Mr. Skinner, I think you're right.
Of yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Expense account submitted by Special Investigator Johnny Dollar to the Universal Adjustment Bureau, Hartford, Connecticut. Following is an account of expenses incurred during my investigation of the Sunny Dream matter. Expense account item 1, 10 cents for a phone call to Pat McCracken, my old friend and contact at Universal Adjustment Bureau.
Oh, say, I'm glad you called, Johnny.
Yeah, well, Pat, I just want you to know I won't be available for a couple of days.
Oh, yes, you will.
And it isn't because of any insurance matter.
Yes, it is.
What's happened is that I've just received a phone call that's aroused my curiosity. And, well, at any rate, any assignments you may have for me will have to wait until I get...
That's where you're wrong, Johnny.
I said we'll have to wait until... What?
Just happens you have an assignment right now. As a matter of fact, I was just about to call you.
Whoa, can't I wait a couple of days?
Oh, no. Johnny, I want you to run over to Buckland Center.
Huh?
I think you heard me.
The Sunny Dream home for the aged?
That's right. How did you know?
Never mind that. What's wrong over there that you know about?
Well, the number of deaths over there within the past few months have made our actuarial tables look like a big fat mistake. And the companies that have carried the insurance on them are getting a little worried.
All separate companies, huh?
Yeah, but they all cleared their policies through us, fortunately. Otherwise, we'd never have gotten wind of this. Anyway, I promised to send you over there.
Any particular reason for thinking something's wrong, aside from the unusual number of deaths?
Yes.
What?
The beneficiary of the policies that have had to be paid.
Who?
The Sunny Dream Home for the Aged.
I gassed up my jalopy at the sign of the Flying Red Horse, that's item 2, 425, and drove some 30 miles south and east on Highway 2. I found the Sunny Dream home just north of Buckland Center. It consisted of a huge old frame house surrounded by trees and well-kept gardens. In comfortable chairs scattered here and there on the wide porch and lawn, nice-looking, well-dressed older folks sat around reading, chatting, playing cards, enjoying the late afternoon sun. The whole place looked clean, quiet, and restful. After parking my car, I walked slowly up the long, flower-bordered walk under the trees toward the entrance. And as I did so, a little wizened old man in a wheelchair detached himself from a group of the old folks and wheeled over to me.
Mr. Dollar?
Yeah, that's right.
I'm Frank Skinner, the one that called you.
Oh, how are you, Mr. Skinner?
Come right along in the office where we can talk.
Yeah, sure. Oh, may I give you a hand with that chair?
No, don't need it.
Huh? I must say you handle it well.
Sure. Haven't been on my feet in over 5 years now. You can help me up this little ramp, though, if you don't mind.
Oh, sure. Here you are.
No, sir. My stepson built me that ramp.
Good idea.
Yes, sir. It's a big help to a man that can't use his legs. Now, right around the side of the porch here. Oh, evening, Miss Baker.
Good evening, Mr. Skinner.
Here we are. If you just open the door.
Sure.
You just sit down there, and I'll get right to the point.
Okay, fine.
Now, you listen to me. I'd appreciate it if you'd let the folks here think that you've just come to look over the place, like maybe you've got some old relative you'd like a nice home for.
In other words, you don't want to alarm your clients.
Guests, Mr. Dollar. They're honored guests, all happy and with no worries.
Uh-huh. Well, I must say that those I saw outside looked perfectly content. But now, about those so-called accidents.
5 of our people have died within the last 6 months, Mr. Dollar. 5 of them. Terrible. And like I told you on the telephone, they looked like accidents.
What kind of accidents?
Well, now, the first one. Well, Maybe it was. That was old Miss Epp. Lived in the little guest cottage out back.
What happened?
Small fire. Must have started in the wastebasket or something. By the time we got to her, well, she'd suffocated. And I suppose Mr. Purley might have been accidental, too. Food poisoning it was. At least that's what the doctor called it. But nobody else got sick on them. All those canned peaches, Mr. Dollar.
Who was the doctor?
Oh, Doc Cherry from town. Of course, Mr. Purley was the only one that had 3 helpings of them. But my wife never had trouble with her canning before.
Well, go on, Mr. Skinner.
Well, old Miss Shamley fell down the main stairs to the living room. Look through the door there. You can see the stairs.
Well, that's a long stairway for elderly folks.
Then Miss Lizzie Bell. We called her Miss Lizzie Bell, though her real name was...
What happened to her?
She fell out the window of her bedroom. And Mr. Dollar, she just wasn't strong enough to get her window open that wide. She was 94. Then poor old Miss Betzler, she fell down the stairs, too.
Well, Mr. Skinner, if those people aren't able to negotiate a stairway like that, you're at fault for requiring them to do it.
Well, most of them are. The others have their rooms here on the first floor, like I have, too.
How about Miss Lizzie Bell, who was 94?
Well, she never left her room until she fell. Or until she was pushed by somebody younger and stronger than she was.
Well, unless you can prove something like that.
I have to prove that those others were pushed down the stairs.
Right so. You see, from what you've told me so far, Mr. Skinner, there's no reason to suspect those deaths weren't accidental.
Even so many of them, all within a space of only 6 months.
Unless, as I say, you can come up with some concrete evidence to indicate otherwise.
All right, then. You can tell me this. Why did all those things happen late at night? When those poor old folks wouldn't have any reason to be up and around, when there wasn't anybody around who could help them, until it was too late.
Well, so far as that's concerned...
Why, sure. Folks have got to get up at night sometimes, one reason or another. But they all had their own private baths, and if they want anything from downstairs, like something to read or some hot milk, something like that, why, all they have to do is ring the push button in their room, and my wife gets it for them. We do that all the time.
Where is your wife, by the way?
Martha? Why, she's
Right here, thanks. Who's this you're blabbing off your mouth to?
Why, Martha, this is Mr. Johnny Dollar, insurance investigator.
Investigator, huh? Well, you can march yourself right out of here.
Hold on just a minute, Mrs. Skinner.
Just a minute, nothing. You get out of here and leave us alone.
Mrs. Skinner.
And if you don't, I'll throw you out. If you don't think I'm young and strong enough, then I'll show you.
Strong enough to throw a little old lady out of a window? Or shove a couple of people downstairs?
Get out.
Act 2 of yours truly, Johnny Dollar. And now, Act 2 of yours truly, Johnny Dollar, and the Sunny Dream Matter.
Martha Skinner, co-owner and the real manager of the Sunny Dream Home for the Aged, was a big woman, tall, muscular, and a lot younger than her husband.
I don't want your kind snooping around, Mr. Dollar, so get out of here and leave us alone.
Your husband seems to think those deaths here in your home for the aged weren't so accidental, Mrs. Skinner.
Oh, he does.
Yes, that's what I told him, dear.
If you'd keep that mouth of yours shut, Frank, we wouldn't have this sort of thing. Why don't you in that wheelchair get out of here?
You sound as though you have something to hide, Mrs. Skinner.
I have nothing to hide. Don't you see what your coming around here will do to our nice place? It'll give us a bad name, that's what it'll do. Folks come here on the recommendation of the folks that live here. If your sort starts prowling around, it'll make our nice home for them sound like a murder factory, and I won't have it.
Oh, now, just calm down a moment.
Poor old folks, Mr. Lizzie Bell and Mr. Purley and the rest, were accidental, that's all. You got any reason to think they weren't?
Well, I didn't have until a minute ago.
What do you mean by that?
If they weren't accidents, well, it certainly took somebody younger and stronger to push them down those stairs.
You mean me?
Well?
No, Mr. Dollar, you're wrong. And if anybody started that talk about not being accidents, I guess I did.
Yes, you did, Martha.
Oh, I was so upset. Those fine old people passing away. Why, they were like family to me. I guess I said a lot of things that didn't make sense. Until the doctor and the police came around and told me I was wrong.
The police investigated?
Yes, and they made quite a stir. I guess that's why your being here is upset, Martha.
Well, of course, if they found nothing.
Mr. Dollar,
Do you think that I could do anything like what you're... that I could harm a single hair of any of these nice old people? What possible reason could I have, and what sense would it make? We're being paid for their living here, and if anything happens to them...
Yeah, if anything happens to them, you collect a nice, big, fat hunk of insurance money.
You know about that?
Insurance investigator, remember?
No, you're wrong. It was their idea to name us in their policies, now wasn't it, Frank?
Yes, Martha, it certainly was.
Well, let's not talk about it anymore now. It's getting late, so I think I'll drive back to Buckland Center and have some dinner.
Well, you'll do no such thing. You'll have your dinner right here. And if you wish to stay overnight...
Oh, no. You mean I'll have another room to fix up?
Well, I'll help you, of course. Walter, this is Mr. Johnny Dollar.
Dollar? The insurance investigator I hear about all the time on the radio?
That's right, son.
What's your business here, Dollar?
Frank called him, son.
Yes.
About those accidents?
Yeah, that's right. What do you think about them, Walter?
Look, Dollar, Mother's got enough trouble without you coming around.
Walter.
Well, it's true, Ma. You know it. First it's the police making a big racket.
We've been through all that, Walter. I asked you a question.
Well, why don't you get out of here and leave us alone? I'm sick of all this nonsense. I'm sick of this whole place.
Oh, Walter.
Year after year working like a dog for a lot of old fogies.
Are there only the three of you to take care of this place?
That's right. Oh, and of course, Frank here is a lot of help tied down to that wheelchair.
Well, I do all the office work.
Oh, sure. Big deal. Handle all the money, too. But what about the talk that as soon as we get enough money, we can sell out and get away from here? Hey, look, Dollar, what difference is it to you who keeps this place up?
Hey, you're a pretty husky fellow, Walter.
Yeah. Would you like a little demonstration on you? Now, what do you mean by that?
Well, maybe I'll tell you after I've had a look around.
Then you will stay.
Oh, yeah, I'll stay until I'm satisfied.
Well, you won't be here for long if I've got anything to do with it, understand?
Is that a threat, Walter?
Take it any way you like.
I'm sorry, Mr. Dollar. I'm sure he didn't mean that the way it sounded.
Well, tell me, do you two have joint ownership of this place, you and Mr. Skinner?
Well, it's really in my name.
And if anything were to happen to you?
It would go to Frank and Walter.
I see. Walter said that you've talked about getting enough money to sell out and leave this place.
He certainly did.
Is that what you plan to do?
Yes, sir.
Well, I'm not so sure.
Of course you are.
I've grown to love this place. All the nice people who... Mr. Dollar.
Yeah?
Enough money, you said. Like a lot of insurance money from... Oh, no. You can't think that Walter would... Oh, no. He's spoiled and fresh and impetuous and talks a lot, but... Surely you don't think...
Mrs. Skinner, what would you think?
Act 3 of yours truly, Johnny Dollar, in a moment.
At dinner that evening, I made a point of chatting with as many guests of the Sunny Dream Home for the Aged as possible. Sweet old Mrs. Baker, who must have been in her 80s, pretty much summed things up as we talked together on the porch in the cool of the evening.
You're really kind of sorry for Walter, Mr. Dollar. Young man like that doesn't really have a place here among all of us old ones.
Yeah, I wonder why he doesn't go out on his own then, Mrs. Baker.
Because in spite of his brash, noisy way, he loves his mother, Martha. And since she has so much to do taking care of us, why, he just stays and helps her. Isn't she one of the loveliest people you ever met?
Well, she certainly seems devoted to you folks.
And she is. Makes us toe the line. Balls us out sometimes, just like a mother hen. But she's all heart.
And Mr. Skinner?
Very nice. Handles the business affairs of the home real good, too. Isn't generally known, but he's the one who gave us the idea of making out our insurance to the Sunny Dream.
Oh?
Of course, we never told Martha.
Oh, there you are. Evening, Miss Baker.
What a nice young man this is, Mr. Skinner. We've been having a wonderful time talking away about this and that.
That's fine. They make you a comfortable room upstairs, Mr. Dollar?
Yeah. Right at the head of the stairs. Very comfortable.
Good. Well, don't let me interrupt.
I'd like to talk to you a minute if Mrs. Baker will excuse us.
Why, of course.
Thank you.
And we'll talk again tomorrow, won't we?
Sure, of course we will. Good night. Mr. Skinner, when was the last accident when someone fell down those long stairs?
Huh? Why, that was Miss Betzler earlier this month. Why?
Well, at the head of them, as I came out of my room, I found something that... Well, they were marks that looked to me as though they'd been made by some kind of struggle up there.
Oh?
And a tiny piece of cloth from a man's suit caught in a splinter on the newel post.
Well, what are you going to do about it?
Oh, just leave it there. Tomorrow I'll get somebody from the police laboratory over here to look at it.
Well, whoever's suit that was must have a tie.
Oh, no, not necessarily. It was really just a few threads that had been pulled out. But they might be the clue to a killer.
I see. Well, good luck, Mr. Dollar.
Yeah. Thanks. In my room, I waited until long after the big home was quiet and wondered if my hunch was going to pay off. Hunch? Sitting there on the porch talking with old Mrs. Baker, I'd suddenly remembered something Pat McCracken had told me in the very beginning. He had notified the home I was coming here to investigate. That meant he'd notified Frank Skinner. Could that have been why Skinner phoned me? To allay any suspicion the insurance companies might have? Yeah, I wondered. Finally, about midnight, I heard a noise at the head of the stairway. Quietly, I opened my door. And there at the top of the stairs, armed with a flashlight and standing solidly on his own 2 feet, was the man who said he was confined to a wheelchair.
Well, Mr. Dollar.
You won't find anything there, Mr. Skinner. Because there isn't anything.
You lied to me.
It got you up out of that phony wheelchair, didn't it? To see if you left some trace of your last murder, didn't it?
Now listen, Dollar.
Pretty rotten racket, Skinner. This place. You persuaded the old folks to name you as beneficiary of their insurance policies. Then you proceeded to shove them down those stairs.
Would you like to see how?
Yes, Skinner.
Then I'll show you.
No, you don't. Yeah, he'll live to go to trial. And whatever sentence they hand him will be much too short. The Sunny Dream home, well, I hope it'll be the quiet, peaceful place his wife wants it to be. Expense account total, including incidentals, $12 even. Yours truly, Johnny Dollar. Hollywood.
And Johnny Dollar.
Jerry Holland, Johnny. Tri-Mutual Insurance Limited.
Oh, sure, Jerry. How are you?
The name Curtis Randall mean anything to you?
The banker here in Hartford?
That's the one. He's also one of our big policy holders. At least he was.
Oh, what's happened to him?
Day before yesterday, he and a friend of his, a fellow named Byron Peters, they went deer hunting over near Kingman, New York.
And?
They hired some old character in the neighborhood to act as guide. Randall and Peters didn't know it, but the old goat was an alcoholic.
So what happened?
At the end of the day's hunt, they raised Cain with Curly because he hadn't found them a deer.
Curly, the name of the guide, huh?
Yeah. They had a big argument. Curly ran amok. He picked up his 30-30, killed Randall, then killed himself.
Oh, too bad. But what's to investigate?
Well, it's really just routine. Company policy on anything over $500,000.
500? Wow. Who's Randall's beneficiary?
His hunting companion, Peters.
Peters? No wonder you want me to investigate.
Johnny.
Only this one looks too easy.
Wait, Johnny.
I'll be right over.
Bob Bailey in the exciting adventures of the man with the action-packed expense account. America's fabulous freelance insurance investigator.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
And now, Act One of yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Expense account submitted by Special Investigator Johnny Dollar to the Tri-Mutual Insurance Company Limited, Hartford, Connecticut. Following is an account of expenses incurred during my investigation of the hapless Hunter matter. Expense account item 1, 95 cents for a taxi across town to Tri-Mutual in the office of Jerry Holland. As they opened the door, he met me halfway.
Hey, what was the idea of hanging up on me, Johnny? Then when I tried to call you back, you'd left.
Well, sure. I figured if this thing only happened a day or so ago, the faster I could get working on it, the better.
Well, I'll go along with you on that, but
Where's
now...
this man Peters?
In the hospital.
Because if anybody should be suspect, he should. After all, as a beneficiary... What did you say?
I tried to tell you on the phone, only you hung up. Byron Peters is in the hospital.
Where?
Over in Kingman, New York.
Why?
Because he was shot up, too, by that drunken guide when he tried to prevent him from killing Randall.
Oh. Then Curly killed himself.
Yeah. You know, if you'd stop going off half-cocked, you might get somewhere on this case. If it really is a case.
Sorry, I guess I jumped to a conclusion
You sure
before.
did.
Well, $500,000 is still a lot of money.
Sure it is. If you need it.
And Byron Peters doesn't?
Well, according to the local police chief who called me, it was in Byron Peters' brand new Eldorado that they drove over to Kingman. It was Peters who arranged for the guide service. It was he who supplied the guns and equipment.
Yeah, okay, Jerry. I'll take your word for it. What hospital is he in over there?
Angel of Mercy. It's the only one.
Any other information I ought to have?
None that I can give you. As I told you, this is just routine because of the money involved, company policy. Of course, for your report, you might try to find out if this old Curly Summers, the guide, had any reason to have it in for Randall.
Randall knew him before, huh?
Huh?
I thought you said Peters arranged for the guide.
No, I guess I did. But now, Johnny...
Let me have Peters' home address, will you? And Randall's.
Sure, why not? And I hope you don't think...
Did you know Randall well?
Yes.
Was he a drinking man?
One martini before dinner, that's all. Yeah. Why?
How about Peters?
Oh, I don't know. What difference would it make?
Oh, just wondered.
Don't kid me, Johnny. You've got something up your sleeve.
Why, Jerry.
Now, what is it? You know something about these people that I don't?
Not a thing, so help me. But $500,000 is a lot of money.
And I tell you that if you suspect Byron Peters, you're crazy.
Did I say I still suspect
But the way you've been talking.
Did I?
Well, no.
Well, I do. Sure, with so little to go on, I had no reason at all to suspect Peters. Except for a hunch. But hunches have paid off for me more than once. Expense account item 2, $380, a tank full of gas for the drive across Route 6 to the New York state line. There I picked up 9W, then 212 to Kingman. I found the Angel of Mercy Hospital on the way into town. The chief resident physician, Dr. Matthews, was completely cooperative and of no help whatsoever.
Quite pointless to see him at the moment, Mr. Dollar.
Oh, what do you mean, Doctor?
Mr. Peters is sleeping under sedation.
Oh?
I'm afraid the ordeal with the police left him quite exhausted.
The police have already seen and questioned him?
Yes, and they had no business questioning him so long in view of his condition. Shock, you know.
Tell me something. Do they suspect that he killed Mr. Randall, too, then wounded himself for an alibi?
You mean that you do?
Yeah. Do they?
Oh, my boy, you must be joking. Of course not.
Oh? Why not?
Whether you realize it or not, and you will, if I permit you to see Mr. Peters, see the manner in which he was wounded, see the extent of his wound.
I'll realize what?
Oh, my boy.
I asked you a question, Doctor.
You will realize how impossible it would have been for him to shoot himself in that fashion, how narrowly he himself escaped death at the hands of that rum-crazed guide.
You're sure, Doctor?
Of course I'm sure, and so are the police.
Well, where does that leave me?
If I may say so, with egg on your face.
Act 2 of yours truly, Johnny Dollar, in a moment. And now, Act 2 of yours truly, Johnny Dollar, and the hapless hunter matter.
A hunting guide had run amok near the little town of Kingman, New York. And, according to report, was responsible for the death by shooting of wealthy banker Curtis Randall for the wounding of Randall's companion, Byron Peters. But Peters is beneficiary of Randall's $500,000 insurance policy. So, naturally, the old bug of suspicion began to gnaw away at the back of my brain. Until, that is, I saw Peters, his wounds, the x-rays, and finally talked with Captain McManus at the local police headquarters.
Well, sure, we talked to Peters, Mr. Dollar, but only to find out exactly what happened when old Curly went off his rocker and started spraying lead with his hunting rifle, then shot himself.
Then my suspicion that Peters might have done the shooting.
Well, didn't you see how Mr. Peters was hit by that 30-30? Now, look. He saw Curly pull the rifle on Mr. Randall and shoot him down.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he lunged at Curly like this. Curly whirled around, pulled the trigger.
Yeah. Well, the x-rays I saw.
Sure. Well, then you know. When Peters lunged at him, the bullet creased his head from the top, went right through the muscles in the back of his left shoulder, and landed in the floor.
So it's pretty obvious that Peters couldn't have shot himself.
It's impossible. He would have had to have arms 5 or 6 feet long to shoot himself on the top of the head at that angle.
Hey, when did you first learn about this whole thing, Captain?
When Mr. Peters came to, he phoned me from up at Curly's cabin where it happened. I went up there right away.
And?
Curly and Randall were dead. Peters was still lying next to the fireplace where he'd fallen.
What, if he was able to phone you?
He pulled the phone over to him by the cord. Still had a good right hand, you know.
Oh, I see. Where were Randall and Curly?
Randall by the front door with a bullet in the back of his head. Curly lay between them.
Just how much do you know about this Curly character?
Well, that's the part I don't understand. Why he did it.
I heard he was an alcoholic.
Sure, he was the town drunk in a harmless sort of a way, except when he'd go off on a rampage and get into a fight or two, but never during hunting season.
Uh-huh. Well, what did he do?
Odd jobs of any kind, most anything. People had always refused to pay him until the job was done.
To make sure he'd stay sober, huh?
Well, at least reasonably sober. And just as soon as he got paid, he'd buy a lot of cheap whiskey and hole up in his cabin.
That's where the murder occurred.
Except during hunting season. Then he'd never touch it. He was a good guide, Mr. Dollar. He made a lot of money from the people who came up from New York City and Hartford and such. That's the part I don't understand. His hitting the bottle during the season.
Well, did he ever have any trouble with his clients before?
Oh, he'd bellyache about them being so rich when he was so poor, that sort of thing. But he'd have to get awfully drunk to... I swear I don't understand it.
Yeah. Well, look, Captain, I'd like to see the bodies of Mr. Randall and Curly. Are they still hereabouts?
Still over at the coroner's office.
Then let's go, huh? I wasn't quite sure what I was looking for. Maybe that's the reason I found it. At least found something that started that old suspicion bug gnawing away again. Peters, back at the hospital, had had a bad powder burn on his forehead, next to where the bullet had creased him. Okay. He had said that Curly the guide pulled the trigger when he lunged at him. Randall, there at the coroner's office, had no powder burns. Okay. It was apparent that he had been shot from across the room. But Curly, who was supposed to have shot himself upward through the jaw, also showed no sign of powder burn. Sure, the bullet hole indicated he could have shot himself by holding the gun at arm's length. A 30-30 is fairly short. But no powder burn. I said nothing of this to Chief McManus.
Well, it pretty much bears out what Peters told me and I told you, doesn't it? Curly shot Randall, then Peters, then himself.
Suppose, just for the sake of argument, that Randall did the shooting. First, that is.
Well, now, Mr. Dollar. Wait, speaking of argument, Peters said that Randall and Curly had a pretty big one. Because Curly didn't find him any there. That's when he started to get drunk and abusive. But as for Mr. Randall...
On the other hand, suppose that Peters started the whole thing.
Oh, now, look, that doesn't make any sense. Then try to kill himself?
Well, isn't that what you're saying Curly did?
Well, sure, but that's different. No good old bum realized he'd gone too far. There was no other way out for him. But a man like Peters, with money, everything he wants...
Where is this cabin of Curly's?
Quite a way. 10, 12 miles.
How do I get there?
Straight down Pear Street to the mobile gas station. You know where that is?
Yeah, I saw them away in.
Okay, you turn left there. You go 6 miles. Then take the first right-hand road right up the side of Deer Mountain until you get there.
Okay.
Here's the key to it.
Oh, good. Thanks, Chief. I'll see you later.
You want me to go along with you?
No. According to you, this hunch of mine is all wrong.
I'm sure of it.
Okay, then. I'd better wing it alone. From the outside, Curly's cabin was a shack, nothing more. And there were enough cheap whiskey bottles scattered around the yard to sink a battleship. Inside, however, it was pretty comfortably fixed up. And back under the kitchen sink, I found a case of Prince Francis Scotch, nearly full. Had Curly suddenly changed his taste for the better? Or had somebody decided to bait him with it? By the dark stains on the floor, I could see where both Randall and Curly had fallen. Where Peters had gone down, there was also the rifle slug embedded in the floor. And I noticed the angle at which that slug had ended, as though it had been fired from the ceiling, certainly from higher than any normal man could reach. And Curly was only 5 foot 2 or 3. Then I saw something else, a heavy cord hanging down from one of the rafters above where Peters had lain. It was frayed at the end as though forcibly broken. Now, suppose someone had hung a loaded rifle there by the trigger so the slightest pull would set it off, had stood under it holding the muzzle carefully next to his head, to one side, just close enough to... Yeah, hello.
Mr. Dollar?
Captain?
Yeah, listen. Now, you may be right, though I still don't see how you can be.
What do you mean?
Look, I've got Dr. Matthews at the hospital here on this party line. You still there, Doc? Right here, Chief. Well, then you better tell Mr. Dollar. Well, it's about Mr. Peters.
Yeah?
He's left.
Left? I thought you had him under sedation.
I guess it didn't take hold the way I thought it would.
Well, what happened?
Well, he woke up and asked me who it was that had been here to see him while he was drowsy.
Did you tell him who I was?
Yes, then he seemed to drop off again, so I left him. A few minutes later, I heard his big fancy car pulling away.
Doctor.
I went back to his room and he was gone.
Doctor.
Listen, Dollar.
Yeah, Chief.
I don't know what it means any more than you do. But if I was you, I would get away from that isolated cabin. You see what I mean? Dollar?
Sure, Chief. I'll leave right away.
That was very smart, Dollar.
Byron Peters?
That's right. Byron Peters.
Act 3 of yours truly, Johnny Dollar, in a moment. And now, Act 3 of yours truly, Johnny Dollar, and the hapless hunter matter.
Oh, you weren't as badly hurt by that bullet as you pretended.
That's right, Dollar. Does that help bear out your absurd suspicions about me?
Not nearly so much as your coming up here to this cabin, Peters.
What's that supposed to mean?
You rigged the whole thing pretty well, but not well enough. Why you wanted to get rid of Curtis Randall, I don't know.
You're out of your mind. Randall was a friend of mine.
You must have had some reason for killing him.
Curly Summers murdered Kurt. We had a big argument because he hadn't found us any game. The only reason it got out of hand was because Curly was drunk.
On what? On some of that expensive scotch I found in the kitchen?
How should I know? Yes.
Where did he get that?
How should I know?
Well, I do. You brought it here to help bolster your phony alibi, to indicate that Curly had it up here, had been hitting it. But you pulled a boo-boo.
Why don't you talk sense, Detective?
Are you trying to tell me Curly would ever have stuff like that? Look at the old bottles scattered around outside. Cheap rot gut, that's all. What's more, he never touched a drop during hunting season.
That's about as thin evidence as you could possibly dig up, Dollar, and you know it.
Peters, why did you come up here just now? Okay, I'll tell you that, too. Lying there in the hospital, nursing your sore shoulder, you didn't plan on that injury, did you?
I told the police.
Oh, yeah, sure, you told the police. Lying there, you suddenly remember the one thing that could show how you cleverly wounded yourself after you killed Randall and Curly. That piece of cord up on the rafter, where you hung Curly's gun up by the trigger.
Dollar.
You aimed it carefully along the side of your head, then yanked on it to set it off. Dangerous, but a great alibi.
I told the police, the doctor. Curly pulled that trigger when I lunged at him, struggled with him.
Little Curly held that gun high enough so the bullet would crease your head from above?
I was bent over, lunging at him.
Then enter the floor from up here where this cord is hanging?
You're pretty smart, aren't you, Dollar?
Curly was supposed to have committed suicide, huh?
Yes, he must have, because I heard him shoot himself as I passed out.
Oh, sure. The bullet entered his lower jaw, went up into his brain.
That's right.
That meant he had to hold that 30-30 at arm's length. So, the muzzle right next to his jaw.
That's right.
Where it would have left powder burn. But, Peters, there were none. Because you shot him from across the room, the same as you did Randall.
Yes. Yes, the same as I'll shoot you.
If you can.
My right hand is still good, Dollar, and so is the 38. You and your fool insurance company should have left things as they were. Chin up, Dollar.
Tell me one thing.
Sorry, I haven't got time. When I left the hospital, I made sure I was seen heading for New York, and a carefully set up alibi.
You still won't get away with it, you know. Any more than you got away with killing Randall.
I had until you came along, and I will when I've killed you. So if you have nothing more to say...
One thing. Why did you kill Randall?
You're trying to stall me.
Why?
All right. All right. Because I forced him to name me in his insurance. I was the only one who knew about some shady operations in his early business career.
The old story, huh?
That's right. Blackmail. That's why he's been paying me off, supporting me, until recently.
So you threatened to expose him?
No. What would that get me financially?
Then tell me this.
No. I've got to get out of here to New York.
Just one thing more.
I don't know why you're trying to stall me, but it's no use. So if you have any prayers, Dollar...
Sure. That Chief McManus standing there in the doorway will slug you before you pull that trigger.
Oh, no, not that old chestnut.
Why not, Peter?
What? You...
Doggone it, Dollar. I thought I told you on the phone to get out of here.
Expense account total, including gas to get me back to Hartford, $13.13. Remarks? Why? Why don't they ever learn? Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
This is the United States Armed Forces Radio and Television Service.